marking its 74th Independence Day, known as Yom Ha'atzmaut. Every year, the celebrations include the traditional torch lighting, and one of the people selected to light the torch this year is Kalman Samuels, a remarkable man who is the founder of Jerusalem's Shalva Institute. The Shalva is the Israel Association for the Care and Inclusion of Persons with Disabilities and is dedicated to providing transformative care for individuals with disabilities as well as empowering families. Hello, and welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to see you, and I've had the pleasure of meeting you before, so I'm not surprised that you were selected as one of the 12 people to have the honor of lighting the torch for Yom Ha'atzmaut. What does it mean for you personally and for the larger Shalva family?
First of all, when the minister informed me that I was going to be one of the 12, I had to sit down. I was overwhelmed, not on a personal note, that too, of course, but more importantly, in the fact that the state of Israel recognizes and gives honor to the field of disabilities and people with disabilities, and more in particular, to Shalva. And when I think about Shalva, I think of 32 years of extraordinary, dedicated people of all realms and different capacities who have all contributed with great dedication to make this happen and to make it grow from, very small beginnings to very significant reality today.
Right. Now, small beginnings, you're saying it's definitely not small now, but your own journey is very interesting. We just saw a childhood picture of you looking quite different. I know you're originally, child of the 60s from Vancouver, randomly found yourself here, and the next thing you know, you're becoming religious, living in B'nai Brak, and raising a beautiful family. How did that happen?
I was born and raised in Vancouver, Canada. Indeed, a child of the 60s. My English name is Carrie, and we came from a wonderful, warm Jewish community. My family was very, very Jewish, Zionistic, but certainly not religious. And coming out of high school, I had a lot going for me. I had, academic and basketball scholarships. And I took a year of university, and I was dedicated to become a professor of Western civilization. And after 1 year, I was on my way to France to study. My mom asked me to stop by in Israel for the first time for 2 weeks. I did that. Something touched me very deeply here. And I said, I'm going to figure this out. I took 6 weeks. I took till the end of the summer. To my father's dissatisfaction, I canceled a year of study and decided I'll figure out in 1 year. And by that time, I had become religious, wanted to become an academic in the Jewish field, and studied towards the rabbinate, which I ultimately took. And en route, I met my dear wife, Malki, and we began raising our own family. And our second child, Yossi, was injured by a faulty batch of vaccine that didn't only impact him, but over a 6-month period impacted many, many children at that time in 1977. And he became blind, deaf, and very hyperactive. And our young lives got flipped on their heads. The dreams were put aside. And we focused on caring for Yossi. And well-meaning people, usually educators of the past, came to my wife and said in one way or the other that she has to think about taking this child out of the family setting. It's too much. And Malki would cry occasionally at night and say, God, I'm never taking Yossi out of the home. He's a gift from you. But if you ever decide to help my Yossi, I'm going to dedicate my life to helping other mothers with similar situations.
Thinking about where you came from with Vancouver to where you are now, why is Shalva, such an important kind of representation of what others around the world could do to help people with disabilities who are very, very special?
It's a very humbling thing to even begin talking about this, what Shalva has accomplished and what it's done. But the fact of the matter is that we've done it differently. As a very big professor once said, it took a mother who recognized the gaps in services and had the smarts to know how to fill it with meaningful programs. Each of our programs is very different. whether it's an after-school program, it's every day of the week, in changing literally the quality of life of families where their child, rather than coming home at 2 or 3, comes home at 6:30. Parents can work. Sisters and brothers can do homework with mommy and daddy, whether it be overnight respite, which is a unique concept that Malki created, where every night of the week, a different subset of the children sleep over. So mommy and daddy know that if it's Monday, every Monday, from Monday morning till Tuesday night, they're free to get on with their lives. And that's critical time. And we now service the entire population, as I say, from certainly from right to left, religious, non-religious, Jewish, non-Jewish, that for sure, but also the cycle of life. And Shalva has emphasized from day one the significance of family. And in the day, back in the early 90s, I was mocked by people in the know and the authorities. Why are you busy with the family? Just give therapy for the child. And I said, you don't seem to understand that if mommy's not doing well, the child is not going to have a great benefit from the therapy. And I was very happy to hear in about 2005, I was at a conference and a very significant government representative began speaking about this new concept of family first. And I was smiling. And the person next to me was a staff person at Shalva, and she was crying. And she says, why are you crying? She says, why are you laughing? I said, what we were talking about for 15 years has suddenly become mainline.
Right.
And so it is with many of the things we've done.
Right.
Color, just putting in color, the quality of the facilities. It's no longer business as usual. If you're a center for people with disabilities, the impact is there where it may just be paint on the wall, but people realize that, hey, we can make this a lot better for people.
Right. Now, Kalman, you also recently, I know you've had your autobiography to write most of your life, but you finally, got down to writing it. It's called Dreams Never Dreamed. I guess it's an autobiography of sorts, but obviously, Yossi being, the inspiration for what Shalva is today. So tell us why, specifically Dreams Never Dreamed is such a, very fitting title, especially, as, Yossi's dreams and yours and where he is today as a 45-year-old.
Well, the title of the book is Dreams Never Dreamed, and someone said to me, you can't give a passive name, you must call it Dream. I said, let me leave that for others. They're basically, when I was a non-religious kid with a bright future ahead of me, I certainly never dreamed of living in Israel, nor did I dream of being religious. When Yossi was injured, neither Malki nor I could ever dream that one day we would be able to communicate with our son. And when Yossi had his breakthrough, neither of us could ever dream that out of that will become Shalva and will become what it has become. So the book is basically relating the story behind the story of Shalva, and it's, I understand, seems to entertain people and move them greatly. And the Yossi you mentioned and his dreams, he's the last guy who should be dreaming. He can't see, he can't hear, he can't walk for the last 25 years. What does he have to get out of bed for? Yet this kid never stops dreaming. He wanted to meet the President of the United States. He figured out a way when a certain visitor came in that he could make the introduction, and he met President Bush at the White House.
Kalman, thank you so much for your time and sharing your beautiful journey and the great work that you've done, not just here in Israel, but for the world. I know that Shalva is beloved around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm humbled to be with you.